Hi, everyone, and welcome to Our Disabled Future, a series where disabled voices lead the way. I'm your host, Nico, and it is a good day for disability inclusion. Each day during Disability Pride Month, I'm amplifying real disabled stories, where we are, where we want to go, and how the heck we're going to get there. Together, I think. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by our guest, Michelle. Michelle, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, Michelle, tell us about your story and about your disabled life.
So I was born deaf in one ear and partially deaf in my other ear. I have visual disabilities. I've been wearing glasses since I was 6 or 7. And my vision was bad enough that I started wearing contacts at 8 years old. I have ADHD and anxiety, both of which I'm medicated for. So I have all sorts of disabilities that I'm dealing with pretty much my entire life. I have managed to get my master's degree in library science, and I have been a professional archivist for about 18 years now. And I focus a lot of my work on advocacy for disability and accessibility, as well as mentoring young people who are getting into the profession who are dealing with disability and accessibility issues.
That's remarkable. Thank you. It sounds like you wear many hats, and I'm really thankful that you provide that guidance and education for others. What does a disability friendly future look like for you in particular?
I want to see a world where everyone is allowed to move through the world in a way that works for them. All too often, the world, especially the professional world, has silos where we all need to stay in the same lane, making it very difficult for people with disabilities to work to the best of their ability. And in a perfect world, we would all be given the accommodations that we need, no questions asked. We would be allowed to work from home when we need to apply for assistive technologies without paying extra money for it, and to generally be allowed to live our lives in the same way that able-bodied people get to.
I love that call for disabled people to just be and not have to prove worth or how disabled we are. That sounds great. Let's dive a little deeper. What do we have to do specifically to reach that disability friendly future? Do we have to pass laws, teach skills, share knowledge or stories? What do you think?
All of the above. I feel that the biggest issue with disability is a lack of exposure. Most people do not know someone who is disabled. And if you do not know someone living the life of a disabled person, it is very hard to put yourself in their shoes. So the first thing we need is more visibility and more representation. I think we're seeing that more in especially material that is created for children, where you see people with limb difference, with assistive technology, like hearing aids, like glasses, like wheelchairs, showing up as regular people in part of the universe that this story is taking place in. That allows us to feel to both see ourselves in everyday situations and to get other people to understand that disabled people are no different than anyone else. We also need to see more legislation that says you cannot get around these rules. You cannot treat someone as less than simply because it is an inconvenience to you. And then the other thing we need to see is more empathy in general. I like to tell people, especially if you are newly diagnosed, in the process of getting diagnosed, newly disabled, your life is completely chaotic. To have to try to navigate how to get accommodations at work, in your social life, in your home in general, is an extra burden that is unfair to ask disabled people to shoulder. And the number one thing I see is people are willing to make accommodations, but I always hear the same thing. We'd be happy to provide you any accommodation you would like. What do you need? I'm a lifelong disabled person. I know what I need. If I was diagnosed yesterday, I would have no idea what to ask for. So, having a suite of accessibility tools that are just available to everybody makes it so much easier to ask. Plus, the thing we always forget is that accessibility tools help everyone. If you have a screen reader on your computer or a magnifying glass on your computer, it's going to help someone who is visually impaired, but might also help someone who forgot their reading glasses today, who's got some allergies going on and their eyes are just a little watery, or you know what, the font is just too small and we need to make it a little bigger. It helps everyone, not those who are disabled. And it often allows people who have a disability that don't realize it to have an easier time accepting their own disabilities.
That sounds remarkable. Thank you for that well thought out answer. I love this sense of acceptance and this idea that we could just have accessibility tools laying around for whoever needs it, allowing people to really customize their own accessibility approach. As we close our time together today, I want to give you a chance that you and I, as disabled people, so rarely get. And that is a chance to brag about yourself or any recent win that you've experienced, maybe something cool you're working on, or even if you have an online presence and want to grow that, where can people find you online? But this is just a chance to be your own cheerleader and brag about yourself. Let's hear it.
You for the opportunity to do so. So I actually do have a website. It's michellegansarchivist.com. If you just type in Michelle Gans, I should pop up, and you can find some information about some of the writing that I've done, my CV, some information that I provide for how to do how to ask for accommodations in the job searching process, how to ask questions during the interview process, and some information about how disability and archives work together. I also am proud to say that I am in the process of finishing up a book on archival trauma with some of my colleagues in the archival world. That is going to be going to the publishers hopefully next week and should be out by the end of the year. This book is really focusing on archival trauma and the trauma that we get as archival workers from either not seeing ourselves in our collections, from seeing very horrible misrepresentations of people with disabilities in our collections, and in general, the horrible things that we see in archival material, and how do we as archival workers protect ourselves from that trauma, and how do we ensure that our patrons and our potential users are not suffering while looking for information for things. So I'm excited that's going to be coming out soon. And I would like to do a plug for the Society of American Archivists. I am a member there. I'm on council and a number of different I've had a number of different leadership roles there. If you are an archivist or you're thinking about becoming an archivist, I would really encourage you to look at the Society of American Archivists. There's a lot of tools there to help you get into the field, to help you do research in archival things. And I really push the idea that disabled people need to be more involved in our own history. There is nothing without us. And unfortunately, archival collections are completely devoid of us. So it is very important that we become professionals and help take control of our own histories.
Michelle, that sounds fantastic. Thank you. All right, folks, tune in next time. And remember, this is our disabled future, and we're building it together one day at a time. Wherever you go, whatever you do, I'm rooting for you, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Bye.